welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. But today on the show, it's one of our monthly trailer roundup episodes. We've got Jason Harris from Awesome Movie Year joining us to talk about a whole bunch of movies coming out in October. It's spooky season, lots of horror, although, as you'll hear, I thought that there wasn't a lot of horror. This is a very contentious episode between me and my buddy Jason, but we'll get into that in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure that you are subscribed to Piecing It Together on your podcast app of choice. Wherever you're listening right now, make sure you are subscribed. We've got a lot of episodes on the way, and you'll find out about them as soon as they come out if you get subscribed. If you're enjoying Piecing It Together, you could also drop us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, Spotify, wherever it is that you're listening. It would be greatly appreciated. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. Also, I want to remind you, we've got 2 live shows coming up in October. I'll be mentioning this a bunch throughout the month, but coming up this week is Joker Folie à Deux with Jason Harris, also Tyler Tutt and Joe Black over at Maya Cinemas this Thursday, October 3rd. I think at the time this goes up, the contest to win tickets will be over with, but you can still enter to win tickets for our next live show, which is on Saturday, October 12th at Downtown Cinemas on Terrifier 3. That one is with Michael Keane, Tia Bean, and William Patrick Coleman. That is going to be a wild show. And yes, you can enter to win tickets at piecingpod.com. So go do that. We hope to see you out at some of these live shows. We've got some other live events coming up that I will be announcing very soon. But for now, before we get into the conversation, I also want to read off a couple of listener puzzle pieces. And we don't have a lot this month, but we do have a couple for Beetlejuice. First of all, Josie DeMarco mentioned Transylvania 6-5000, which I had never heard of, and I looked it up, and it just sounds insane, and I got to watch that movie. It looks like something that I would really, really love, even though it doesn't look like it has a great reputation, but it looks like something I would love, so I got to watch that. And then Josh Gilstrap mentioned Willem Dafoe's character in American Psycho is very similar to what he's doing here, although much more heightened in Beetlejuice, which I can't believe I didn't think of that. I just watched American Psycho for the first time in years, so I should have thought of that one, but great one to include here as well. So somebody sent in the Substance puzzle pieces, but we haven't gotten that episode out yet, so I'll read that on next month's trailer episode. But as always, if you think of any puzzle pieces for any of the movies that we cover coming up here in October, send them in, and I will read them on the next trailer episode in November. So with that said, let's get to this month's trailers. Jason Harris is back with us for another month of trailers. Jason, you've been on the show a lot lately. What's going on?
Well, Dave, you needed a jump for your audience, and you made a terrible decision. You thought I could get you more listeners, but really, cut your listenership in half. No, you know what it is, Dave? I like movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do a podcast about movies.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, who can I have on this podcast about movies who likes movies?
Yeah.
And you pick me because
you're on that list. You're on my master list of people. Yeah, absolutely.
I might as well run a Jewish deli, Dave, because I always bring the meat.
Woo! Very nice. You don't even know this, but at the time of recording, our Kill episode is finally coming out tomorrow. So, I mean, God, you really are on a lot of episodes. But
and so you mentioned that, I'm like, Kill. Was I on that episode? When did we do that? It was like months ago, man.
I feel the same way. Yeah, that one just kind of got buried. But hey, it's coming out. But before we get into October's trailers, which there's plenty to get to, let's take a look back at the month of September. We talked about God's Not Dead 5 and God We Trust, which of course we weren't going to see, although I know you had a friend who had something to do with it, right?
I heard you got arrested for masturbating in the movie theater.
Okay, let's move right along to Transformers 1, which I said looked terrible, but apparently everybody really likes it, except Josh Bell, your Awesome Movie, your co-host.
I heard you got arrested for masturbating in the movie theater.
Look, can you do it one more time? Next up is My Old Ass in theaters right now. I haven't seen it yet.
I don't think it's come out here. So.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's out this weekend at the time of recording. So no to that one. Speak No Evil, I did a live show on. It was fun. We had a good time at that one. Did you see that yet?
No, you liked it. Most people did not.
Yeah.
Most people said it was a totally unnecessary remake.
Well, I think I would even agree with most people, but it was still fun, though. James McAvoy's good. So then next up was the 4:30 movie, which you joined me over at Downtown Cinemas for my 400th episode to cover that one. That was pretty fun.
We had a good time covering it. Are you a member of the Kevin Smith, the World of Kevin Smith Facebook group?
No, I'm not.
It's interesting because those are all the super fans, right? And like once in a while, a super fan will be like, I hate to say it, but I didn't like it. And then they'll get jumped on like, Kevin's the best. This is the best movie since his last one. I saw it 3 times already. We thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was fine at best. But that's fine is way better than the last few, so.
I reiterate, right? He cast his daughter as a nun-turned hooker. And I know you said that was the part that she wanted. But also, he cast his daughter's boyfriend as young him.
Yeah.
And young him is out there trying to bang. So, it's a lot of incestuous stuff going on in that.
A lot of odd things happening there. Next up is Wolves, which I think at the time we recorded it was still going to be in a few theaters, but now it's just Apple TV, and it's not actually out at the time of this recording. So obviously we haven't seen that one yet. Ooh, Thank you.
That's partially for Wolves and partially because this is for October. Scary season, Dave.
There you go. I like it.
What are you going as? Is this for Halloween?
I don't know. I'll talk about this later, but I'll be up at the Film Quest Film Festival doing some live podcasts. But I don't know yet if I'll dress up.
Man, I've invited you to film festivals to do live podcasts, and you always complain. I can't. It's past 6 o'clock at night. I'm a little baby. And now you're literally taking the idea I gave you and not taking me on the road with you for it.
They've actually been talking to me about it for a while, and I want to do the one that you want me to do. Hopefully next year, we'll see. Anyway, next up, His Three Daughters. It's on Netflix. I haven't seen it. I've heard nothing but good things, though.
I've heard the same. I'm ready for it. Let's get cracking, baby.
All right, next up is A Different Man. Also not out yet, and actually, I think the date that I had listed as a wide release was just limited, so I don't think it's out anywhere except New York and LA, so can't see it, but I can't wait to see it.
Screw all the listeners.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. Next up, Megalopolis, which is, of course, Francis Ford Coppola's big dream project. Josh Bell is going to be my guest on that one. We are going to have a fun time talking about how completely batshit insane that movie is.
So I'm going to a film festival this weekend, which takes place at a multiplex cinema. And the only movie I plan on seeing is sneaking into Megalopolis.
Nice. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what you think. Which has nothing to do with
the festival.
Yeah. I always do that whenever I go to film festivals. I'm totally with you.
So Josh is your co-host for that one?
Yeah, Josh is going to be on that episode. We're recording.
You like people looking for gay undertones. This is the episode for you.
Yes, that's right. So I think you'll find some, maybe. Next up is The Wild Robot. Again, another one that's not quite out yet. It opens this weekend. Again, hearing nothing but good things about it. I can't wait to see it.
This is like, they're already saying it might be a Best Picture nominee. It's exciting also because we have some good, Inside Out 2 was pretty good. And there's that other foreign animated feature. Is it Flow? Maybe
Flow looks so good. Yeah, in December.
So what a great year for cool animation.
Absolutely. Next up is Lee, which another one that is actually limited, and so I'm not quite sure when it's going to expand. It might be this coming weekend, or it might be later, but not out here yet.
Disappointed that Lee Daniels didn't direct it, so we could just have the title Lee Daniels Lee.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be easy. And then the last one is Never Let Go, which is getting pretty bad reviews. I almost went and saw it yesterday, but I didn't. You didn't see it, did you?
What is that?
The Alexandra Asia with Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah, I saw it 3 times.
Nice. Did you like it all 3 times?
I liked it the first one, hated it the second, and the third I'm not sure about yet.
Okay, cool. Let's get into our list of movies for October, which I just want to comment on. I thought was strangely not very horror heavy. I don't know why that is. Like, it's just kind of all over the place. There's some horror, but anyway,
Dude, wait a second. You're doing live shows on Joker 2 and Terrifier 3. Like, calm down, bro.
Yeah, but it's still October. You'd think there'd be more. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of horror this month, which it's weird. It's like they don't spread it out properly, but whatever. The Platform 2 will be on Netflix October 4th. This is a sequel to the Netflix film, which came out like right in 2020. Big funky, weird capitalism metaphor sci-fi concept, which really did not need a sequel. But it was a pretty damn good movie, and it'll be interesting to see if this is worthwhile.
Yeah, and speaking of horror, this involves elements of horror, so
elements of horror. Where's the slashers? Where's the just straight up horror movies?
Yeah, there's definitely not that in Terrifier 3.
No.
I like The Platform. It was one of the first ones I remember breaking through during the pandemic, and
right.
it's a movie from Spain, and you're like, what is this movie? It was a cool movie. I don't know why we need a sequel either, but because it was a hit, that's why.
Sure.
The first movie I always think of when I think of The Platform is Cube, the movie where everyone's stuck in that moving cube and has to find their way out, somewhat like The Platform. I think there's an element of Old Boy in here where someone traps you in somewhere and is just messing with you. And also, there's that whole, this seems like, and they did it in the first one too. You eat whatever you want, but you only have 3 minutes to eat or whatever. It seems like the opposite of the menu, or in some ways like dealing similarly with the menu, like the kind of idea of food meets grotesqueness in life.
Yeah, sure. And rules around the food and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking about the menu too. I was also thinking of The Whale as far as like, gluttony based films, stuff like that. But then you brought up a awesome movie with Old Boy. I will throw Dread in there as far as all the different levels within this structure that they have to work their way through. So yeah, I don't know if there's any point to there being a sequel to this, but hey, the first one was good. Like we said, people should watch that. Next up, continuing to kill my point here, VHS Beyond will be on Shudder October 4th. This is the latest in the popular
is this a horror movie.
It's a horror anthology series. What do you want from me? I haven't seen any of these movies. Have you seen any of the VHS movies?
Nah, but I'm down to. You wanna come over, watch some VHS horror movies together?
We'll see.
All right. Fair enough.
I don't know. This was really hard. Like, I honestly didn't write anything down for this one. It's really hard with it's one thing to do an episode on a movie that's a series of vignettes, but like doing a trailer episode, it's like, I don't know. It's like you're seeing little bits and pieces of different stories,
Don't worry, Dave. I told you I'd bring the meat. I got you covered the meat on this one. Yeah.
All right. Good.
So, I mean, there's this whole element of like, what if there is a supernatural, contingency and they don't want to play nice. So that was, and it's also, kind of that found footagey type thing. This is that. So Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch are the obvious two, Dave. So
okay.
I would have gone with those two. And then I also put the TV show Ghost Hunters because it definitely feels like, hey, what if they went and then got their asses ate by some ghosts?
Yes, absolutely. I do want to see, even if I don't watch this, I want to see the one with Justin Long. It's like called Super Furries or something like that. That sounds like right? It sounds like it's gonna be nuts. But
what does Justin Long have against using his own voice?
I don't know. He's an interesting performer this last 10 years or so. I don't know.
It's like some weird Justin stuff. Long. You have one line in the movie and it's "Hi, how are you?" and he's got to be like, "Hi, how are you?"
It's always something with him,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, just play the part. You were good on Ed. That's what we all liked you from when you were playing a version of yourself.
Absolutely. Next up is Saturday Night in theaters October 11th. Jason Reitman's story of the first night of Saturday Night Live with a huge cast of young people playing all the real life Saturday Night Live cast. I've heard mixed things out of the festivals with this one, but I don't know. It could be something.
Well, we know you have your ear to the ground at all these festivals since you're a big bad podcaster.
Mm.
Oh, come podcast for me at my
Yeah.
festival. Come,
Yeah.
come.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it could be something.
Yeah.
So,
Are you a big Saturday Night Live fan, Jason, as a
I
comedian?
I am, but I last season was the first one in a while that I just didn't connect with, and I stopped watching midway through.
Mm.
Before that, I've probably seen every episode of the last 30 years, I'd say,
Wow.
almost. Yeah.
Okay.
So how about
Yeah.
you?
I mean, I of course loved it back in high school, like during that like '90s era, and into like Will Ferrell and all that. But and everything back before them. But I don't know, I just kind of like stopped
It
somewhere in the
feels, I
2000s.
mean, yeah. So is it that we're out of the demographic for it,
I think
Or
so. I think
is
so.
it that, or is it that the comedy's been declawed a lot? It feels very like defanged. There's no venom in what they do anymore.
It does, and something me and our mutual friend Q talked about before is like it's weird that a lot of the people that are on the current or recent cast of Saturday Night Live, they go on to do such insanely funny things. Like I think you should leave. Like that Tim Robinson was on Saturday Night Live. Like that's weird because his stuff just seems so out
Well,
there.
yeah, I remember him when he was on there, and like he barely got on it though,
Yeah.
So
So
there
yeah.
really wasn't much. Yeah.
Well, what do you have for pieces for this one?
Saturday Night Live. That's my no.
Probably a
Uh,
big influence, I think.
70s New York kind of energy, young people taking over. Definitely had that vibe of Almost Famous when they were in the hotel and Jay Baruchel's like running around. David Bowie's here, right?
Yeah.
So I have that. I thought of a a movie about making variety shows, which I've mentioned here before. My favorite year. Recommend that. It's got
Yeah.
Markland Baker, Cousin Larry. What else do you want? Cousin
Yeah. Right.
Balky? Sure. Go watch a Beverly Hills Cop movie. And then Quiz Show, because that was one of the first movies, or one of the movies about making TV live in the early days. And it's good. We liked Quiz Show. We like the
Yeah.
Quiz Show.
We definitely do. I'll go along with Quiz Show and put broadcast news on there. And then thank you, Jason, for leaving a futile and stupid gesture for me. The David Wayne's last feature
Sure.
film about National Lampoon, which also had the very tall task of casting all these people from comedies that we love so much and trying to, have young actors play them, which is a really, really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't get through that movie. I've read the
It's
books.
it's fine.
You should read the book Live from New York because it goes into the detail on there. Also, isn't Will Forte in that movie?
Yes, he's like the main.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
the main.
watching
Yeah.
Bodkin now, and I loved Will Forte in Nebraska.
Oh yeah, he's great in
I'm
that.
getting mixed returns on him lately though. And speaking of SNL people, like he was so weird and out there. I don't know. I feel like we got to find the right vehicle for him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. He's definitely a talented person. It's just he's got to find the right projects. But next up is Piece by Piece, which will be in theaters October 11th. This one looks really weird. It's a Lego animated documentary about Pharrell Williams, the rapper and producer. Crazy idea. It's fun when a documentary tries to do something unique or interesting like this.
So it seems like it was his idea, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so is this one of these like produced by Pharrell Williams about Pharrell Williams, like all those Tom Brady
Yes.
and Steph Curry? So you can use any of those athlete ones, I guess. The Jordan one, The Last Dance, was so great, But
Mm.
after that, now it's just like, look at how great everyone else is, and it's not nearly as good. Yeah, I've heard like it's cool, but then it just kind of like meanders off, once he becomes famous type thing. So I was thinking of animated movies that deal with real stories, and
Hmm.
I went with Persepolis, which we covered on Awesome Movie Year. I
Okay.
went with that movie Flea, which I think we did on the preview episode here
Oh
of
yeah.
the immigrant who has to flee the country. And then there, as far as music documentaries, I thought I'd pick a good one that we haven't talked about, the limited series on HBO Max about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, the Defiant Ones, because it covers a lot of what it is to be a producer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that gets into a lot of areas, and of course, Pharrell, for a different era of hip hop is just so freaking huge. I mean, kind of that same level. So, yeah, really interesting ones all around there. I mean, the obvious, yeah, good job. The obvious thing, of course, is the Lego movie itself. Being inspired by the idea of doing that form of animation. And then I put Weird, the Al Yankovic story, just finding this weird, unique way to tell someone's life story, even though it's obviously going to be pretty damn heightened, I would imagine.
I mean, we liked the Lego movie so much that we saw the sequel together. And I remember you got caught masturbating in the theater. And it was just so unnecessary, Dave.
Yeah. Let's move on to Brothers, which will be on Prime October 17th, so no one could catch me doing anything. I won't be in any theater. This is Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin starring as brothers who... one of them has kind of gone straight, although they used to be criminals together, I believe, and the one tries to pull the other one back in. It's directed by Max Barbakow, who directed Palm Springs, and the screenplay is by Macon Blair, and a story by Ethan Cohen. Huge supporting cast: Glenn Close, Marissa Tomei, Brendan Fraser. This movie kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like.
I think I didn't know about it, and I think this might be the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah,
all month, mostly because I don't have to sit with you in the theater. We all know what you do there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's definitely Big Lebowski energy to this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Cohen's in general.
Yeah, there was a scene, I forget what it was, but it reminded me of Lebowski almost exactly. The size difference of criminals, right? The physicality of that. I thought of Bad Santa for, our Billy Bob and Tony Cox. And then, Dave, if we're going to talk about a movie about mismatched brothers committing crimes, we have to talk about my all-time favorite awesome movie year pick, Bandits, which I never picked because I confused it with Matchstick Men. But yes. 2 Billy Bobs in this one.
Wow, amazing. Billy Bob is great for this kind of movie, so why not? Yeah, good old Bandits. I threw Twins on the list, Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger as brothers, why not? But the one that I really couldn't get out of my head with this, if you take the ambulance out of the equation, this is practically the same plot as Michael Bay's Ambulance, where Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen are inexplicably brothers, and then one of them has gone straight, but they used to be into some shady shit together, and then the crazy one draws the other one back in.
I mean, that's always, right, look, you could put Bottle Rocket right there too, right? That's always the case for these things. So
that would fit as well.
You're, it's not Michael Bay coming up with the most original story there. If you take Superman out of Superman, this is exactly the same movie, Dave.
I may have said that at some point on this podcast before. Yeah. Let's move on. Another fucking horror movie.
Yeah, you're right. There's none of them this month.
God damn it. What am I talking about? I'm looking forward to this one, though. Smile 2 will be in theaters October 18th. I loved the first Smile, and I know it seems like, even though it was a huge hit, which is why we're getting a sequel, it seems like a lot of people didn't like it, or maybe they just kind of turned on it at some point. I don't really know, but I like the idea of this sequel, that the Smile demon curse thing has kind of infected a pop star, which obviously puts her right in front of all these different people that she can pass it off to. It seems cool to me. I'm in for it.
I'm not against it. I just love that they had the Smile people at that baseball game in the
That was so great.
It was what a sweet marketing move. So you mentioned the idea of kind of this horror urban lore type thing. It brought me to We're All Going to the World's Fair. Kind of let's see what this is, and do we want to participate and all that. Obviously the Ring, right? Once something attaches to you, you only have so long. And then I like that Drew Barrymore was in it because it just had that Scream connection.
Was Drew Barrymore in? I haven't seen the recent trailer. I watched the first trailer.
I think they do something on the Drew Barrymore show.
Oh, nice.
What happens is they smile at her writers and they say, "We don't care if the WGA is on strike. We're going to just move forward without you."
Oh, yeah. Nice meta commentary there. I love it. I'm going to go with Vox Lux, the Brady Corbett, Natalie Portman, just horrific takedown of what pop stardom is. Also, there's a shot in the trailer that looks a lot like Gaspar Noé's climax, and I hope there's a lot of that in the movie because it just looks really freaky and weird.
There's always a lot of climaxing when you're at a movie.
God damn it. Yeah, okay. Next up is Hard Truths. You better not do it with this one. This is a serious movie, Jason.
Truth about what? Truth isn't the only thing that's hard.
Yeah. There you go. In theaters, October 18th. Mike Leigh's latest film. It looks good.
We're excited. It's Mike Leigh. It's Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Secrets and Lies. Come on, like you got to be excited about this one. She's a grumpy old lady who can't enjoy her life, and if anyone could pull it off, it's this team right here. Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets. That's what that character reminded me of.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino. Those were the two I picked.
Yep, I was thinking of both of those. I was also seeing other people mentioning this, so I'm stealing this a little bit, but they were saying it's like the polar opposite of Happy Go Lucky. Which obviously to bring another Mike Leigh film into it, but with Sally Hawkins just being this cheerful, optimistic, happy person.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I haven't seen A Man Called Otto, but it definitely reminded me of that character too.
Yeah, that's a good one to include too. So next up is Woman of the Hour, which will be on Netflix October 17th. This is Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, and she also stars in it. It's another horror movie about a woman on the dating game in the 70s when an actual serial killer, Rodney Alcala, appeared on the show.
That's wild, bro.
I know. It's a crazy story. I'm surprised they haven't made this into a movie yet, but yeah, looks pretty good.
Well, I didn't know that backstory, but so now that I do, I'm going to put Confessions of a Dangerous Mind on there. The
nice
George Clooney directed one about Chuck Barris, true-ish story, right? Is he part of the CIA or not? As far as the kind of boilerplate thriller ones, I went with Fatal Attraction, obviously. And then to reverse it, I went with a comedic one. I went with The Cable Guy.
Yeah, Cable Guy, that's a good one to include there. I was thinking of, I mean, obviously too new to be an actual influence, but this goes right along with Late Night with the Devil, which I was thinking of puzzle pieces that I brought up on that episode. So I'll go with Joker just as an extra chance to plug our Thursday, October 3rd live show that Jason will be a part of.
Yeah, me and Bag of Pudding, Joe Black, and Tyler if she shows up. I watched Late Night with the Devil a week ago. One of the better movies I've seen this year.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, definitely good. So next up, Family Pack on Netflix, October 23rd, a French film about a family who ends up getting transported into this medieval village back in time, and they have to kill werewolves to get home.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
Yeah. So they're playing a game, and they get involved in the game. It's Jumanji right there,
of course. Yeah.
And then I was thinking Dungeons and Dragons because it has that feel. And finally, I put down, well, the structure reminded me of The Princess Bride because they're playing the game and they come out of the game to talk. And then the last one would be like something like Enchanted, where you're going to a different place in a different time and, working it out.
I saw someone called this Le Jumanji. But The Princess Bride I was thinking about too, and Army of Darkness because they have to do this quest for the villagers in this medieval place. So in order to get home.
Army of Darkness. Well, isn't that a nice allusion to what we might be talking about in the next piece movie here? I'm just saying there's a Sam Raimi produced movie coming up.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. But not yet though. Venom: The Last Dance is first on October 25th in theaters. The conclusion of the Venom trilogy starring Tom Hardy. Do you like these movies?
I have never watched one, but I am going to watch them before this one, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I like the first one plenty. I mean, Tom Hardy's great, of course. I didn't really like the second one at all, but we'll see on this one.
I just, I had superhero fatigue before that was a term, as you know.
Of course, absolutely. What do you have for?
I got well, it's the final of the trilogy that's involved in the fantastical. So I put the Return of the King for the Lord of the Rings, as that kind of wraps that one up. I put Stranger Things obviously right there, so because it definitely has that feel to it. And then it seems to me that like the Venom the venomous monster creature, the Venom, Johnny Venom. He infests a different Tom Hardy in there, right? And that Tom Hardy there's regular Venom Tom Hardy, and now there's new Tom Hardy, right? And he doesn't want any part of it, but he can't help what is taking over him. And that reminded me of Jim Carrey and Liar Liar.
Oh, okay. I think we might have used the mask as a puzzle piece on the first Venom or the second Venom, or I don't know. I can't get them straight at this point, but yeah, good stuff though all around there. I was trying to remember a movie because this has the scene where they get the Venom stuff in the horse and he turns into a Venom horse. I was trying to think of a movie with something like that. I think maybe the Marvels, they did that with the cat. It turns into a big creature cat. But there's probably some other one that's better.
Horse.
Venom horse is the main reason to watch this movie. But then it also seems like they're on the run, so I thought of The Fugitive for one other piece here. So, yeah, that's what I got. Let's move on to that Sam Raimi movie you were talking about, which looks awesome. It looks great. It's called Don't Move. It is on Netflix, October 25th. It's about a woman trying to escape from a serial killer or just a killer who has injected some kind of chemical in her that's going to paralyze her within 30 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. There you go. It stars Kelsey Asbill, who I don't recognize, and Finn Wittrock, who's in all of the American Horror Story stuff. But yeah, I think this looks good. I don't think the directors have done any features before.
Another horror movie, Dave. You were right. No horror movies this month.
This is like a thriller.
This feels like the type of plan Jigsaw could come up with. So I did put Saw in there. Then I was really excited because I deep cut. I try to find a couple of deep cuts a month, and we've never talked about this movie. It's from 2018, 2020. What Keeps You Alive? Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Maybe 2022. It's about this. Kind of going to do some spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear it, it's about this lesbian couple. They go to this one of the women's old cabins, like in the woods, for like their, it's on a lake and it's their 1 year anniversary, and they're celebrating and everything's nice, and she's making allusions to like her ex, and then they're out on a hike and she just pushes her wife off a cliff to like murder her.
Nice.
And the woman survives, right, and has to like kind of track her down, and she survives but like can't walk, can't do anything, she's trapped in the woods, like that type of thing. And it's a crazy movie, and you find out more and more about the murdery lady, and it's just nuts, that movie.
That sounds really good. I'm going to have to check that out for sure. Jigsaw is a good one to include here. Saw those movies. I was thinking of Oxygen, speaking of Alexander Aja directed that, and he's a big collaborator with Sam Raimi, but that kind of simple premise thriller, the kind of thing that he is usually very good at. Oxygen's set on a space station and air is running out, so it's a single location thing, but it's still a similar time is running out kind of thriller. And then I was also thinking of the scene in The Wolf of Wall Street where Leonardo DiCaprio is like overdosing or whatever it is, and he's kind of
that's
climb
great.
His way. Yeah,
what a great physical performance that was. Huh?
So good. Probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, of the Raimi movies, right, you have The Woods, so you got some Evil Dead type things, but this really felt a little like Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of that in there too, for sure. I hope this is good. I see Netflix movie and I worry, but it looks good though. It looks like a solid thriller. So our last one for the main list here is Your Monster, which will be in theaters October 25th. This stars Melissa Barrera as a girl who is broken up with, but then finds out that there's this monster living in her closet, and it turns into this kind of like horror rom-com kind of movie. I heard it's like really cute and very fun.
It looks fun. It looks, it's a Sundance movie. It definitely, at first I was like, oh, this is going to be like a fun walkie-talkie, like, I can't get my life together thing, and now we're adding this monster element. So, I thought of Ted, who is not a monster, but a teddy bear, but that kind of like connection with a creature, whether real or imaginary. And then, when you're going to talk about imaginary friends, you go right to Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with Drop Dead Fred, I was thinking of Little Monsters, which I just watched for the first time since I was a kid.
One of the few movies I ever shut off as a child.
It's so bad. It's really bad, but it was fun to watch, though. Also, Beauty and the Beast, which seems to be like the main thing.
It says it in the quotes. It's a modern day Beauty and the Beast. You did
did it really?
For that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. I'm not saying it's not obvious, but I did miss that quote. So, yeah. And then, more of a companion piece, but this really feels a lot like this year's Lisa Frankenstein, which I think was heavily underrated. And I love that movie. So I think it would be a good one to throw on with it as a kind of double feature.
Fine.
So
just do it then, bro.
Might as well. Also, do we want to take some odds here, Jason? Is Whitebird really going to come out this October?
Is that the Wonder? Is that the one that we like? It's a Wonder story that we've always almost talked about and just never.
We covered this on the trailers 2 years ago, and then it came back up again like about a year later, and now we're 2 years later, and it's supposedly really finally coming out.
Yeah, well, I don't care.
I don't care either. Not one bit.
Hey, Dave, you know what you didn't mention, though?
What's
for
that?
September? Why didn't you mention Rebel Ridge? That was like the one we were most excited about in September.
There wasn't a trailer at the time that we recorded. That's exactly why. Yeah, so, yeah, but Rebel Ridge rocked. I love that movie. Yeah, and also Strange Darling, I didn't even know about, until we actually did the trailers episode, and I was like, oh shit, we should have spotlighted that. But yeah, there's always more movies. And speaking of which, I wrote down a big list of other movies. Were there any on there that you wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
Let's see, Dave. Let me look through your list.
Well, while you're looking, I will say Frankie Frico, the new movie from the director of Psycho Goreman. I hope it's as fun as that one is. That movie was completely insane.
Well, that sounds, super fun. I agree. I mean, obviously, Anora is on my list there. Sean Baker, who we love, filmed part of it here in Vegas, won the Palme d'Or. So that's the one for me, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I do believe that there's not a wide release yet listed for it, so that's why I didn't include it on our list. It is limited on October 18th, but hopefully we'll get it in Vegas soon. I can't wait to see it. So that is our list. I do want to mention, I already said Joker Folie à Deux. That's Thursday, October 3rd. Like you said, you will be on it. Joe Black, Tyler Tutt. That's at Maya Cinemas, 6 p.m., October 3rd. And then on Saturday, October 12th, also 6 p.m., this is at Downtown Cinemas. We'll be doing Terrifier 3 with Michael Keane, Tia Bean, and William Patrick Coleman. I haven't seen the Terrifier films. I'm planning on binging the first two before that night, but have you seen any of them?
No, but I won't watch them with you because we all know what you do when you watch movies.
Well, I think you're supposed to while watching Terrifier. So
you're supposed to masturbate while you watch Terrifier?
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that what these movies are for?
You could start a whole new live podcast.
What are you doing to me on this episode, Jason?
I'm just talking about your incessant masturbation in public settings.
This is an episode for sure. Jason, is there something any movies you watched recently you want to mention to our listeners?
So actually, Dave, and I don't know if you saw it. I'm wondering if you saw it, but we mentioned Late Night with the Devil, and we mentioned We're All Going to the World's Fair. I finally watched, I saw the TV Glow, Jane second movie.
Close
enough. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, it's great. We did an episode, actually.
Oh, yeah, I don't care. That's probably my favorite narrative film this year at this point in time. I'm so impressed. Really great film.
It's really good. And I think I mentioned when we did the trailers episode, I so did not understand We're All Going to the World's Fair that I was like, I really hope I like this one because I hope I don't hate it like that last one. But yeah, it's really good. I like it too.
I think not just really good, but when you write a piece like that, it's easy to write yourself into a corner, and we see movies that can't get out of it. And Jane stuck the ending real hard on that one, really elevated the whole piece, I think, with the ending. So.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, you should go listen to my episode on that one.
Who was on it?
It was Nadia Robertson.
I don't know her.
She's an actress, and she also has a podcast, Cinema Chats. But yeah, what do you got going on, Jason? Awesome movie year, comedy. What's going on?
Who even knows? We're still in. Awesome movie year. We'll start with that. We're rounding the third baseline on 1969. About to land at home plate for that season, which has been good. But we got something really special because our 20th season's coming up. And Dave, we are doing a movie draft for the entire season. Me, you, and Josh each get to pick 3 movies, one from a year. Once a year is taken, you can't draft anything else from that year. So it's going to be a real hodgepodge of fun and delight, and knowing you, some shitty picks too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be really fun. So that's awesome movie year. I might go for Jason on Letterboxd. We got 2 Eat This Comedy live shows
because it's 2 of them.
These comedies, which you never come out to. We got October 13th at Rebellion Pizza in Henderson, Nevada, and then we got Uva Wine Bar in Colorado Springs. So that's going to be fun on October 20th. Those are the things that's happening. Tomorrow, I'm driving up to a film festival, and I will not be recording anything.
I mean, you could just bring a little recorder and just talk into it.
Actually, you know what, Dave? Like, they do these stage readings of the script finalists, and 2 days ago I was cast in 3 of them, and now it's down to 1. So, if anything, I might pull a little network type speech and just eat some scenery up there.
Hell yeah. Jason, as always, thanks for being here. We'll talk to you again soon.
Dave, good luck with keeping it controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Where are your hands? I can't see you.
Dave.
Liam.
It's a trailer.
Watch It If You Can podcast. Join us for each episode as we create box sets of our favourite films and TV shows.
We go through the cast to see what else they've been in, along with any recommendations.
We pick our favourite characters, performances, moments and highlights from the soundtrack too.
We ask if there's anything to make it better and look at the lasting legacy of our pick.
We have a little fun with our quickfire round, and finally, what else would you like list based on themes from the episode.
Maybe, just maybe, you should watch it if you can.
What if they've already seen it?
Well, you can watch it again if you can.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about some of the movies coming out in October. Thanks to Jason Harris for joining us on that one. Make sure you're subscribed to Awesome Movie Year along with Piecing It Together. And make sure to check out our live shows. Like I said, we've got Joker Filet Adieu coming out this Thursday, October 3rd at Maya Cinemas. And then we've got Terrifier 3 on Saturday, October 12th at Downtown Cinemas. Check piecingpod.com to get tickets, enter to win some tickets, and we really hope to see you there. So make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together. Follow us on social media at PiecingPod. Check out our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, with bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and my music career. So I'm going to close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And one other thing that's happening in October is I will be launching the pre-order for my next The Pup Pups album, my comedy novelty album of songs about my pets. And you'll be able to get your pet's name in the big special super bonus extended song like I've done in the last 2 albums. But today, I'm going to play one of the songs off of that album as a little preview. And since it's the Halloween season, I'm going to go with a track sung by our dog Harvey called Your Little Monster. So let's go with Your Little Monster to close this out. This is from the upcoming 3rd The Pup Pups album, which you'll be hearing a lot more about very soon. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
Till I get another snacko from you. I'm a little monster. I can growl and I bark. I'm a little monster. I get whatever I want. I'm your little monster. I'm your little monster. You better watch out, 'cause I do what I want. I wanna bark until I get another snacko from you. I'm a little monster. I can kick some butt. I'm a little monster.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.